It is room 442, the group phase in Qatar 2022. Done. Oh, it was thank God for that. It was so boring.
Terrible.
Just awful.
Terrible.
Awful group phase. Albert, Sarah, Mikey, James here with you. I don't know how to really describe the group phase. We'll get to today's games really shortly. More drama, more theatre. But Sarah, I mean, listen, we've watched World Cups, Euros for a very long time. I know right now
Some more than
FIFA.
others. Some more than others.
Yes, I know I'm really old and over the hill. Thanks. But I know FIFA right now are talking about, messing with it for the next World Cup, 48 teams, 3-team groups. This surely is showing FIFA 14 groups is the way to go, right?
It's the only way to go. They're already adding several more teams, right? We're going from 32 to 48. Let's not mess with it anymore. I'm already upset with that just because I think the World Cup, it's supposed to be the best of the best. And I think we're going to see a lot more teams, lower level teams coming in. It's just going to, I don't know, maybe be a little bit duller. We're going to see less exciting matchups. And then to make it 3 teams after what we've seen in the last 2 weeks? How dare you?
You can't go to the 3 teams, but leave it to FIFA to screw up a good thing, right? Let's be honest.
100%.
But you know what that also means too with adding all these teams? I'm kind of against it too, but probably more upsets. Similar to what we're seeing in this tournament.
Well, if the world's getting bigger and these smaller teams are getting better and the bigger teams are getting worse, then absolutely. But there's going to be some really, really bad teams in 2026. But who cares about 2026? It's 2022, and this has been brilliant so far. Today, groups G and H wrapped up. Let's start in Group H, shall we? Portugal up against Korea, and of course, Portugal, they were moving through many rotations in their squad. Korea taken 2-1. Hwang Hee-chan with the winner, and Uruguay beat Ghana 2-0. Did their job, but not enough, because in the end, Portugal advanced as mentioned. Korea in second place, tied with Uruguay in 4 points, but the goals scored 4-2 in Korea's favor means they progress. Ghana brought us some great moments in this World Cup. Another African team doing really, really well, that's growing in the right direction, but that they're crashing out. So it's Portugal and it's Korea. Amazing, Albert. There were rotations for Portugal, so I'm not sure they're too concerned about that, but this Korean team, much like Japan, showing this rise of Asian football right now.
Yeah, and look at Korea scoring important late goals. 4 of the last 7 World Cup goals coming in the 90th minute or more. It shows them just how good this team is and the quality they have going forward. I mean, if you match up South Korea's team with Uruguay and Portugal, man for man, you're going to go with Uruguay and Portugal. But collectively, like we've seen so many times with a lot of these underdog teams, they come together to make one fantastic unit. And we saw it again with South Korea.
And Mikey, another big team loses. Not that they care, like I mentioned there, but still, Portugal could have been one of those teams on 9 points, and we'll get to Brazil later today. Another team that could have been on 9 points. In the end, they squeaked through. I guess it wasn't too difficult, though.
No, and what is this? How many World Cups have there been where there's been no team with 3 victories?
3 of them.
There's only been 3 World Cups, so that's insane on its own. But as you mentioned, Portugal made quite a few changes. One change they didn't make, and I need to shout this out, is Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh my God, man. This guy is not finding the back of the net if the ball isn't a penalty. If it isn't a penalty, he's not finding the back of the net. He's not in form right now, and if he's not clicking for this Portuguese team, that's my one concern, because they need a guy who can consistently put the ball in the back of the net.
Fun stat about that. This is the second game in this World Cup where Cristiano Ronaldo had 0 shots on target. Something is...
Well, that was a story heading into the World Cup, about him in this starting 11. And in the day when you drop so many starters, why wouldn't you drop the guy who's 110 years old? Right, really?
We know he
unless
wants his
he
goals.
demands to start.
We know why.
Yeah, he wants his goals, right? He knows he's not going to play the full 90. And the flip side of Ronaldo not scoring, obviously that is concerning, but they still topped the group despite him not, lighting up the group stage. And there's always going to be an overreaction to this Portuguese team, fielding a weaker 11 in this final game. But they did find out some good things. They found out that Diego Dalot is probably their second best right back behind Cancelo. And with Nuno Mendes gone, now you can bring Cancelo on the left. They also found out they have some depth on the bench with Vitinha, who had a really good game. Ricardo Horta up front can score goals. So I think they learned quite a few things in a loss, in a match where it would have taken, somewhat of a miracle for another team to take their top spot.
So a productive loss.
Productive
Portugal
loss,
today.
yes.
Not
Even
too
though I'm
bad.
against the full-sale changes in the final game of a group stage.
Uruguay, as mentioned there, they won today. At the end of the match, it all kicked off, of course. The Uruguayan players following the manager, the referee down the tunnel. We didn't expect Uruguay to go out quietly, Sarah, did we?
Never.
Although they've been really quiet up until this match. Hadn't scored a goal, and then they win today 2-0. Not enough, though. I mean, take us to South America right now, Uruguay. What's happening there right now? Just devastation, right?
Yeah, 100%. And you never expect the South American teams to go quietly. It's not nature. They're too passionate. Do I agree with the, kind of attacking of the ref? Absolutely not. But we saw this Uruguay team really turn on. Maybe not Darwin Nunez. Where has he been? But they looked really good and they did what they needed to do. But the issue is that they didn't do enough in the first 2 games. And that will come and bite you in the behind. And that's what happened there. They beat Ghana fair and square. But Korea winning against Portugal was enough to send them home. And it's tough. But welcome to the World Cup. This happens.
It could have been that. Remember that controversial penalty against Portugal late in the game, the handball, Jimenez? Right? That actually cost them advancement, right?
That's what people were saying.
Yeah.
And the non-call today against Darwin Nunez, which I
So
thought
what are your
probably
thoughts on that
was a
one?
penalty. I thought it was a penalty, to be honest. I think it was a little harsh for the referee not to give that. I know when you go to VAR, it has to be conclusive. It looked pretty conclusive to me, but you know what? I can't stand Luis Suarez, so I'll say it. Like I was not upset
So
about
the
that
tears
call
at the end,
whatsoever.
you weren't too upset to see him
Oh
breaking
man,
down?
I was savoring those tears. I was trying to see if I
That's
can.
so sad to say that when you have such a player of such a stature finishing. Of course, this is his last World Cup, and it's always going to be sad for players of such a magnitude finishing their career. Like, it is the end of an era, whether you like him
I
or
loved
not.
it. I loved it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I agree with you because, you think about the modern era of football and those iconic players in iconic moments and seeing Suarez at World Cups, be he biting people or using his hand to stop a goal going in, right? He is iconic.
He is.
And it is, as much as you may hate him or love him, it is a little bit sad to see these guys go into the sunset so quietly.
Oh, Luis Suarez, Edinson Cavani, potentially Ronaldo, Messi,
Diego Godin.
Thomas Muller. We're seeing a real
It's
changing
a
of the
shift.
guard.
It's a
Really
shift.
are.
You tried to slide Diego Godin in
Yeah,
there.
he's a great player.
Hey,
once upon a time.
No, great
Godin,
player, but
brother.
look, on that pedestal, come on.
Uruguayans
Come
are
on.
hate you. You're talking about Suarez and Godin. But I will say this about Uruguay: they definitely should be thrown into that category of disappointing teams. When you leave it to the last game to score your only 2 goals of the group
100%.
stage, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, and that's exactly what happened. And it looks like, starting Suarez probably should have happened earlier, based on the way they
That
attacked
second
today.
game when they didn't start Suarez.
You can't
and
be
the
trying to
stink.
tinker and learn your 11 right throughout the group stage.
Unless,
Yeah.
of course, you're Portugal. You
Yeah.
just defended.
Portugal, Brazil, Argentina.
But no, you're making a very, very valid point, though. I mean, you could tinker, you had to tinker, but at the right time.
Exactly.
Get the points in the bag first, and then you can worry about. And then who cares if you lose? Just ask France, Portugal, all
Brazil.
Brazil, yes.
Right? Well, don't give away
I mean,
the second block. All these people who have no idea who won in that match are just waiting on tenterhooks for our second block, the big block as I call it, and you've ruined it for them. So I apologise to our audience. Let's take a break now, shall we? And then we'll get to the big block too, and what happened, Cameroon, Brazil, and all that crazy Group G action. Welcome back. So as we told you in the first block, Brazil, they lost today. Cameroon beating them 1-0, one of the results of this year's World Cup, maybe one of the results of any World Cup, quite frankly. Abu Bakar with the goal late in that one, and then took his shirt off for a second yellow, got a red card, but Cameroon not advancing, so he's likely retiring soon. Maybe not a big deal, but I'm not sure about that. In a very volatile affair, Switzerland beat Serbia 3-2. There's much history between these two, of course. Freuler with the winner. How do you like that? Freuler with the winner for Switzerland as they advance in second place behind Brazil on goal diff in the end, both on 6 points. Cameroon ended up on 4, and Serbia, one of the disappointments of this year's World Cup, finishing on just a solitary point. Cameroon, Brazil. Sarah, let's start with you. Listen, Cameroon didn't advance, but at this point, I assume there's going to be parties on the streets of Cameroon. What a result. or admittedly against a second string Brazil, which would be most teams' first string, let's be honest.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I feel like, Brazilians are going to say, well, we were playing all of your subs. Well, your subs are incredible, so they still should have won. But yeah, we just found a really neat stat that was that Brazil's never lost to an African nation at a World Cup until today. So, I don't know, they got the whole continent behind them, and they should be proud. They held this team. They really fought tooth and nail. There were so many chances. Gabriel Martinelli probably should have had, about 3 goals? But be proud that you went off on a win. It's obviously awful exiting a World Cup, but to say that you might have beat the potential winner of this tournament, you got to be proud of yourselves.
And here's a crazier stat for that, actually. I just remembered it. Brazil has not lost a group stage match at a FIFA World Cup since 1994.
94. They haven't scored a first half goal in 8 games either.
Ooh.
Look
Man,
at
we are dropping stats right now. We should just leave the room. This is so
Is that what it
unthoughtful
says
too
in your
late.
notes?
What's that?
You have that there in your notes?
That was up here, pal.
Oh.
Yeah, but lurking in those inner recesses with all the dark information. But yeah, listen, let's be honest though. Brazil, okay, so they lose today. In their last match, they didn't look great. They left it late, Casemiro scoring, of course, in that one. If you're a Brazilian fan right now, I mean, how confident are you about, like Sarah said, the team that's likely going to win this thing? The bookies think they are. I mean, are you concerned?
No, I mean frustrated with the result today because you want them to go perfect, obviously. But I mean, similar with France and Portugal. I mean, you make these wholesale changes, you're going to expect some sort of drop off with this team, even though you have the likes of Anthony, Gabriel Jesus, and Rafinha coming in, and Martinelli. But at times, you know what, James? At times, while I was watching that game, I think I even said, I'm like, they're trying to play like the Harlem Globetrotters out there. They're trying to be maybe a bit too entertaining. I don't want to say they didn't take the game seriously, but it was almost as if, well, we're through. Let's have some fun.
Is that called the Anthony effect, Mikey?
Hey, come on, leave it.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't spinning on the sideline there.
I was
did a few
hoping
spins,
for
actually.
one.
He
I
did
was
do a few
hoping for
spins.
Did
one.
he do spins?
Oh, there were some spins. Yeah, you saw them, right?
I didn't see him.
Yeah, there were some spins. Yeah, but I mean, so what are your thoughts on this Brazilian team right now? I mean, yeah, listen, we know how good they are, but it's not as if they've blown away the group phase. Again, no team perfect in the group phase, including Brazil.
Yeah, you know what? I can't put too much stock into it because there's no Neymar as well with this Brazilian team. And today they rotated their squad completely. We don't actually know what this Brazil team is going to look like. But when you stack up their best 11 versus any other team's best 11 in the tournament, I still like Brazil's chances. So, yeah, fair. They haven't really been tested and they haven't really passed every test with flying colors. But that being said, there's not many teams that have, if any team, that has throughout this World Cup. So I think if we're looking at this in comparison to everyone else, Brazil is probably still near the top of my list in terms of teams to watch.
Yeah. And you know what? The rotation is important if you have players that are on yellow cards, right? So you're almost forced into making those changes. And when you do, switch out the keeper, your first choice center back pairing, your first choice midfield, not having your best player Neymar, there's going to be a drop off in quality and performance.
For Brazil, right?
Even for Brazil.
Yeah. Apparently Neymar ran out onto the pitch to celebrate though at the whistle.
Okay.
And wasn't bandaged up, didn't wear a boot.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good sign.
Yeah.
Right. Very good sign. Serbia, Switzerland. This was a crazy one. As expected between these two teams, very volatile, nasty. It kicked off late in the match there, but it's the Swiss advance from the group. Let's start with them, Sarah. I mean, listen, they have not looked good up until this game. They're one of those, a bit like Poland, kind of writing them off. Oh, man, just give us something. They give us plenty today.
Yeah, they did. I am concerned, though, because they are taking on the likes of Portugal, who are a much better team and who have shown that they can do, a lot better. But I don't think this Switzerland team is going to get past them. And it concerns me that they waited so long to also start playing some good football because, that momentum, I don't know if it'll continue, but for other teams that have kind of had at least 3 solid games, maybe 2 or whatever, I think that's more important right now. They're on this high, but they're about to meet a very tough opponent.
Serbia.
Yeah.
What happened to them?
Another one of my dark horses.
Yeah, not just yours.
Yeah, not just. I mean, they showed us what they can do moving forward with Mitrovic, Vlahovic, Dusan Tadic, Milinkovic-Savic, a really good team, but they just couldn't keep the ball out of the back of the net, And I think their emotions really played a part in this matchup, and it got the best of them. And I'm also wondering about Switzerland. This could be a hot take, but heading into the Portugal game, I wonder if they're going to be emotionally drained after playing a fixture like that, because this was essentially a knockout game.
They'll be playing on Tuesday, I believe, right? The next one, so that'll be interesting. Let's look at the bracket then. We now know our round of 16 matchups here. There's some really good ones, and there's some huge banana skins for some big teams here as well. Is there one that just kind of jumps out to you, Mikey? That's the one that you'll definitely watch. You're going to watch them all because you're being paid to.
Yeah.
That one for sure you're going to watch.
Yeah, there's a couple that I'm looking at. Obviously, I think the big one for me is Spain-Morocco, but I'm gonna say the U.S.-Netherlands is a game that I'm really looking forward to. I think these two teams are actually a lot more evenly matched than the sportsbooks say, and perhaps people are anticipating just based on past history. But I think it'll be a lot closer than a lot of people think. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one a lot.
Pulisic apparently is looking pretty good to start that one. So that's obviously huge for them. Sarah, who's jumping off the page?
Yeah, it has to be Spain and Morocco, I think, because this might be the most evenly matched game as of right now. Are the Spanish going to learn from their mistakes, their lineup changes? Morocco right now on a high, they've been playing really well and kind of came into their own as the tournament progressed. So are they going to keep, growing, or are they going to, hit this wall? I think it's going to be so tight, but I think this one is the closest game, I think, between two teams.
Yeah. Morocco have been standouts so far, and Spain showed some real fallibilities in that last match.
Yeah, that's a picture for me as well. And you're right; they're so evenly matched. But I also think Japan-Croatia,
I was about to say Japan.
very similar too, right? That's a
Yeah.
fascinating match. And when I look at these knockouts, especially the round of 16, I'm like, where is the upset? Where is it? And you're hoping for a big one potentially in Australia to beat France, or Argentina, excuse me, which would be huge. But if there's a likely upset, I think it has to go to Morocco.
I think
they've shown us that they have enough to let alone win a group, but win a knockout match as well.
I like Japan and Croatia just because they are two teams that they never give up. Either one of them, right? They have that resilience, and Croatia's been doing it for years. You never quit on Croatia. So many late goals at last World Cup, of course. And then this Japan team just keep impressing me. And the more and more I see them, they're so great in transition, so quick. They're so disciplined. The coach says do this, they do it, and they'll clean the stadium afterwards. No matter what.
Don't you feel like that one has penalties written all over it? Japan, Croatia,
possibly, yeah.
Right? 0-0 all the way.
Depends what Croatian team you get, because
Right.
you can have a
Yeah.
Croatian team that comes and completely blow them out of the water. Well, it could also be the Croatian team that struggles to find the back of the
Hey, be
net.
careful,
I don't
man.
know.
Canadians, Croatians,
Yeah.
rivalry now.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. England, Senegal is also interesting.
Sorry, this one to me is going to be a screamer. I think.
So
I
good.
think Senegal have a chance here. I think they really do, and they've proven that even without Sadio Mane, they're a competitive side. But we were saying they're missing one really key
Idrissa
player
Gana Gueye, yeah. Yellow
based
card
on
accumulation.
cards, so that's always a struggle. But I still think. They have nothing to lose. No one thinks that
No, you're right there.
they're not the favorite.
Yeah.
So I think they're just gonna come out and leave it out on the pitch, and that I don't know. And if it goes to penalties, well, England are in
There'll be some
favor.
pressure there, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they have won in recent years. They lost, of course, at Euro final, but they have kind of turned the corner there somewhat. But I think if you look at Senegal before this World Cup, I said you're missing Mane and Idrissa Gueye for
Oh my
one of the
gosh.
biggest matches in your history. It'd be like, oh, that's just too bad.
That is
right?
upset written all over it.
Yeah.
Let's go. You're selling it to me now.
Yeah, you think so? Oh man, it's going to be nerve-wracking. That's Sunday night, isn't it, that one? So look forward to that. All right, when we come back, it's the Fast Money Football. Two of the first knockout games go on Saturday. We'll break them down for you. It is Fast Money Football, brought to you by Botana. Something's really funny in this room today. I'm not sure what it is, but everyone's
giggles
laughing.
going on.
I think the giddiness of this great group phase is getting too much for us right now. But let's have a look at some of our wagers for Saturday's knockout games. Two matches for you. The Dutch take on the States. Mikey, let's start with you on this one. What you got? Make some money for
All
us.
right, let's go. It's a little bit of a hot take, I think, but I'm going to say that the United States are going to be the first team to book their ticket in the quarterfinal. So the United States to qualify, that's at plus money. And the reason being is when you look at these two teams, I think the sports books and bettors, they're factoring in what took place prior to the tournament. And that was that the U.S. were not looking very good, and the Dutch were looking really good. But as they've head to Qatar, as they head to this tournament, the script has been flipped, and now the Dutch are not looking that great. They didn't have a really convincing group stage, while the States, they had a promising group stage. And of course, I'm highlighted by that game against England. So the States to qualify here, when you look at the numbers, I just think it's smarter to put your money on the States. We'll see.
All right, we will see. Do you refute that in your bet here, Sarah?
Oh, I sure do, because I knew Mikey would also take the U.S. So I wanted to take the other side and take the Netherlands to qualify, plus over 2.5. I think that's an easy shout. I think we can see maybe the Netherlands score first, a little Cody Gakpo 4 for 4, I don't know. And I think the U.S. can score because they have been scoring, like you mentioned, by committee. They haven't, their striker hasn't scored, will he? Who knows? But then I think in the end, the Netherlands will come together and win. Not because I trust this team, not because I think they're that good, but I think because the experience some of the players have on this team will carry them through tournament football, and it will take them to the next round. They know how to play this game, and I think that will get the better of the U.S. against them.
Yeah, the reason I'm confused about the Dutch is just because it was a weak group they're in by all standards, right? So did they play down to their opponents? I guess we're going to find out
They
tomorrow.
got the job done, right?
Yeah,
Top
exactly. Argentina, Australia, Socceroos.
Yes.
No one's rating them. Are you rating them?
I would love to see an upset, and I didn't rate them at the beginning of the tournament, so I can't do it now. Trying to find value here to back Argentina is very difficult. You're not going to lay the number that's there. You're not going to lay the qualifying number, which is minus 1,000 plus. So I'm okay. What's Messi going to do? Is he going to score? Is he going to make an assist? So I fell on an assist, and the reason being is because Australia, they're going to bunker down and sit behind the ball. They're going to need that magic from Messi to find that final ball, and I think he can provide it at plus 125. That's why I'm going with Messi anytime assist.
Kind of a vanilla bet, isn't
It's
it?
a vanilla bet, but you got to
bland.
find value somewhere. What do you got? You got the Aussies
I got
winning?
value.
You got the Aussies winning?
Yeah, I got the Aussies winning by 3.
No.
No. So I have Argentina winning this one. Under 2.5 though, but with Julian Alvarez scoring.
Finally,
I like
James
that.
sees
I
that
like that.
Alvarez is the guy.
I'm with Albert. It's going to be a low scoring game because the Aussies can defend so well. They're so fit. They won't give up on this one at all. So I don't see a blowout at all. So under 2.5, and Alvarez looks really good. He's back in that 11 now. I thought they were much better last game, and with that Messi assist, of course.
Yeah, perfect.
Got the
Yeah.
Alvarez with the goal there, and that's like plus 450 or something. So there is some value if you dig deep enough.
Yeah,
But
very deep.
I will acquiesce to you
Yeah.
because you are the degenerate here.
Thank you. Oh,
Not
that's
so much
nice of you to say
myself.
during this holiday season.
Well-
are we wrapping up here?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Can you make a case for Australia upsetting Argentina?
No.
I thought I made a pretty strong case earlier. And Australia, when they played against France, they looked like a team for 20, 30 minutes that was very capable. And the rest of the tournament, they've gone on and they've gotten results that they need to get. It's knockout football. It's just one game. Argentina hasn't looked too convincing yet. I haven't seen the best out of them. Who knows what can happen in 90
another
minutes.
team that go is who? Saudi Arabia. And they beat them in that first match, right? So
Proof of concept.
she's not having it at all.
No.
Because I think they started off bad and since then have been getting better. So
Definitely.
I think they're getting into their groove. They're figuring out their starting 11. You're bananas.
All right.
There's an
You have
upset.
fingers
There's an
clicking
upset
here.
somewhere.
Well, there's
right?
been a few so far,
There has
hasn't
to be
there?
one.
So we'll see.
I hope
Maybe
not. I
tomorrow.
want to see Messi go on, man. I want to see Messi go on.
Australia and the States in the quarterfinals of the World Cup.
yeah.
That would be incredible. All right, that's room 442. That's Fast Money Football. We are back tomorrow to see who's wrong and who's right.